And with that, we welcome Mary Kay Cabot to the show. How you doing, Mary Kay?
I'm doing great, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Great to see you, Mary Kay. And read your article last night. Obviously, the big story off the field is that Deshaun Watson has settled another case. Obviously, this accusation much more serious than the others because this one basically was alleging rape as opposed to sexually inappropriate behavior. So there has been another settlement. Mary Kay, here's my question. I want to start with this. Deshaun Watson is arguably the worst quarterback in football right now. Do you think down deep that Deshaun's not going to get suspended, I assume, because of the settlement? Do you think down deep the Browns, Jimmy Haslam, were hoping that there'd be a suspension and a fallout from this so they could try to get out of his contract?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think that's how this organization is viewing Deshaun Watson in any way, shape, or form. I think they still believe that he is a good quarterback. I don't think they believe he is the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. I know the numbers tell that story, but there are so many other things going on with this football team and with this offense right now that I just don't think that you can pin everything on Deshaun Watson. I don't think they were hoping that he got suspended. They are hoping that in some way, shape, or form, they can get this offense turned around. They can put some plays, some scheme in place that can help Deshaun and this offense come up off the mat, win some football games, and get back in this thing. They haven't played their division games yet. They haven't played their conference games yet. They're not that far away from the Baltimore Ravens. They're tied with the Bengals at 1-4. And even though it seems bleak right now, there is still a world in which things can change this season, and they're not ready to give up on him.
Mary Kay, speaking of changes, what changes offensively? Is there a world where we actually see Kevin maybe giving up play calling to Ken Dorsey?
I don't know, but I did call for that yesterday in a column that I wrote because even though I do think that Kevin is a good play caller and a good offensive mind, a good offensive coach, I think this team needs a drastic shakeup, a wake-up call. And I think that's one way to do it. Last year in Buffalo, where Ken Dorsey, somehow it was Bills. It didn't change their passing offense. In fact, those numbers declined. But what it did was somehow, some way, it showed the football team, hey, we're willing to do something to shake this up. And I don't know if that was the reason or not, but they went 6-1 after fired. So maybe the Browns need something similar. They need to show to the offensive players, we're willing to try something different. And that's something that you could always go back on, too. If we turn it over to Ken for 3 or 4 games and it doesn't work the way they want it to, so what? So you give it back to Kevin. Right now, I think they need to try something drastic. I also think they should probably bring in another. I think they should make a trade for another receiver. Shake up the room a little bit and see if they can't generate some offense and some touchdowns.
Mary Kay, at what point does the team look at Stefanski and just they may not say it, but they're all thinking it. We'd win games with Jameis Winston.
I don't know if they feel that way. I honestly don't know if they feel that way because even when I talked to Dante Foreman in the in the locker room after the game, and I said, "Hey, Kevin just said he's sticking with Deshaun," and he said, "I hate the fact that this is all being blamed on Deshaun." And this was after a football, and he was basically saying, "We have to do better. We have to do so much more." He had a touchdown wiped out by a false start on Zach Zinter. Jerry Jeudy dropped a touchdown pass. Amari Cooper has been off to a slow start. David Njoku hasn't been in there. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses. I know that Deshaun needs to play better. I understand that. But so does everybody else. And he needs to be protected. They need to figure out how to pick up the blitzes and the stunts and the games and what everybody's doing to them. He's an easy target right now. I understand that. I understand that it's easy to look at him and say he is the sole problem on this football team. Or not the sole problem, but the main problem on this football team. And I just don't know if that's true.
I respectfully disagree, Mary Kay. I mean, obviously he's not the only problem. And there's certainly, there's problems all over this football team. But he was brought in to raise the level of the talent around him. That's what great quarterbacks do. And that's what other great quarterbacks are doing. Early in the season, the numbers were down across the board. But as we've gotten out of this preseason mode, the last 2 weeks, you got quarterbacks all over the league putting up huge numbers. And when I hear the excuse, well, it's the most sacks. Well, Joe Burrow had the most sacks in the league the year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. Well, Joe Burrow's got Jamar Chase. Okay, yeah. But Patrick Mahomes has nobody right now. His top 2 receivers are out. His starting running back is out. I mean, I can't excuse it. And why if they trade for a receiver, let's say, why would Devontae Adams want to come here? I mean, why would he want to come here? They're 1-4. He's not going to want to play for the Browns. I just find it hard to believe that. I mean, Deshaun Watson has shown, in my opinion, zero signs of being a franchise quarterback from the moment he's gotten here, and it's a huge disappointment for me.
Well, I still think that you need to throw away the first 2 years. I really don't think you can look at the first 2 years and lump them in this year. The suspension year, you got to throw that out the window. The shoulder year, you have to throw it out the window. I think you just need to look at what is happening in this particular season. And if you told anybody that you're going to take Njoku off the field for most of these first 5 games, let's be honest, he has not played for most of these first 5 games. He played in 26 snaps in the last game. Amari Cooper got off to a really, really slow start. Dropped a lot of touchdowns. There have been at least 3 touchdown passes that haven't happened because Amari either dropped them or because something happened on those touchdown passes. Jerry Jeudy dropped a pass in the end zone. It's not that it does sound like I'm making excuses. I'm just saying that there are systemic problems on this offense. And when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they're using 4 tight ends. They're doing whatever they have to do to move the football. That's what the Chiefs, what Andy Reid is doing. So that's what the Browns have to do. They have to find a way to overcome what's going on their offense right now. And as a quarterback, that's not in your lane to do that, to figure out, hey, we should be using 4 tight ends. Maybe we should be using the jumbo formation more. That's not up to them. That's a schematic thing that has to come from the coaches. That's why Kevin Stefanski keeps telling people over and over, I have to do a better job. There are so many problems on this offense right now. They have to scheme it up better, and they haven't done a good enough in that regard. If everyone can be 5% better, including Deshaun, I'm not absolving him of blame. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that there are so many wrong right now with this offense, with this coaching staff, with this personnel, that you just can't simplify it and say, if you take him out of the equation, all of a sudden things are going to get better. I don't know that Jameis Winston's the answer right now.
Mary Kay, one of the things that I've been most disappointed with, and we talk about not beating Deshaun Watson, is I've been disappointed in the run game. I've been disappointed in the fact that they can't get any push up front. I've also been disappointed in the fact that, they can't pick up regular stunts. You look at the run game, and obviously you take a look at Bill Callahan and was in charge of the run game. But one of the things I looked at is their offensive assistant and run game specialist is Nick Charlton. Now, he's a first-time coach in the NFL, was at in college for UConn, and they were 33rd in running, and they got a little bit better. I don't know if that was the right move. Do you think it's the right move when you replace a guy like Bill Callahan with all of that, just 43 years of experience, one of the best offensive line coaches, and he's scheming it up. He's picking the plays of how you want to scheme things up and pick up blitzes, and then that job is now given to a first-time NFL coach. I think it's a little difficult. And do you believe that there's some growing pains in their staff with why they can't seem to run the football and they're having protection issues?
It's a huge issue right now. It really is. They really do miss Bill Callahan. They tried to completely overhaul this offensive staff, and right now it hasn't come together. They haven't figured out. Even Deshaun said after the game, we don't know what we're good at. We don't know what our identity is, and they have to find it. They have to fix it. I don't know if look outside, bring somebody in. I've got Bob Wiley saying he'd come and help the offensive line. But when you look at what's gone on the offensive line, it's not just the fact that Jed Wills missed all 4 of the first 4 seasons. It's also, you look on the other side, and DeJuan, just want to try to tell me that DeJuan Jones is what you thought he was going to be? No, he hasn't been. I think he misses Bill Callahan. I think he's coming off of a knee injury and hasn't been himself yet. Wyatt Teller's not out there. Ethan Posick has missed time. teams are blitzing, the Browns are not picking it up. And yes, again, systemic problem. And Deshaun, no, we cannot take the blame away from Deshaun because he's got to figure it out too. But it's a little difficult to figure it out when everything else around you is going wrong, including the defense. I mean, look at the defense. Tackle. So this team needs to, I don't know exactly what they need to do, but this week they need to figure out what they can do offensively. I think, why not let Ken Dorsey try to call plays and see if he can come up with anything better. They need to try to figure out a way how to handle these blitzes and pick up the pressure and somehow function. And I don't know what that's going to be. But I think there is a world in which talent to get it together and they can still win division games. And let's see what we're talking about a month and a half from now.
Let's hope you're right, Mary Kay. You're more optimistic than we are. Tyvis said he's still optimistic.
I'm with you, Mary Kay.
All right.
We're going to ride this thing out.
All right, Mary Kay, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mary Kay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah.